doing here?
Well, I've been known to drop by every now and then. After all, I still own the place.
Well, I know that. I just haven't seen you at the Savoy in a while.
Well, I check in from time to time. Big night out.
Oh, well, you know, Kai's surgery is scheduled for tomorrow.
Mr. Ashford, can I actually speak to you for 1 minute?
Yeah, I'll just let Emma know that we're here.
Hey, Kai, what's up?
I owe you an apology.
Here's to hoping Curtis can finally get through to Kai. Or, maybe Nina and Portia's little plan will finally shatter Drew's perfect little world. It'd be so satisfying if Kai could get a glimpse of the reality behind Drew's shiny facade. Meanwhile, Drew's been pulling out all the stops to keep Willow from running into Michael. Let's just cross our fingers that when Willow does come back home, she gets an eyeful of Drew's extracurricular activities. Honestly, something needs to give soon because this is getting painfully dull. I'm just waiting for Willow to walk in on Drew in bed with the other woman, so she can finally see him for what he really is, a manipulative, self-serving jerk. The sooner the better. Hey, welcome back to Fiction Forge. I'm Samantha here, and I'm so glad you're here. We've got some exciting stuff to explore today, so let's jump right in. I'm playing catch-up like always. I really hate to be that person, but seriously, why are they keeping Trina looking like a little girl in those braids meant for a toddler? Meanwhile, Joss is out here doing adult things, looking all grown up while diving into her sexy spy career. I get it, Trina's physically small, but she and Joss are the same age. It's high time they let Trina look her age too. And don't even get me started on this Drew and Willow nonsense. It's disgusting. Willow really out here acting like she didn't cheat on Michael like it's no big deal. What in the actual hell? And Drew? Don't get me started on Drew. He's literally trying to manipulate Willow into signing over custody of those kids. It's diabolical. Seriously, how is this man still walking around? And then there's the whole Geo situation with Brooklyn and Dante's kid, and Lewis knowing all along, playing it off until the whole thing starts to fall apart. Now we've got Lulu, yes, the queen of the fastest recovery from a coma ever, acting like the expert on everything and passing judgment on everyone. Rolls eyes, but honestly, I can't wait for this week's GH. I need to see Christina finally lay into Alexis. Christina is an adult who can make her own decisions. Alexis should have talked to her first. This has been bothering me all year. Am I the only one who'd never, ever just show up unannounced? Seriously, does anyone on this show ever call ahead? They just knock, ring the bell, and poof, the door's wide open like they own the place. Okay, I feel better now. Thanks, guys. Also, Daytime Emmy nominations are coming up this week, and I'm so ready to see who gets nominated from GH. The awards air in October, but who do you think is gonna make the cut? But hold up, this has been bugging me for 2 days now. Carly told Brick she was in a relationship with Brennan, and literally everyone in Port Charles told her to stay far away from him, except Brick. Brick, who's supposed to be this all-knowing security pro, is just, like, whatever about it? Doesn't make sense to me. He's supposed to be the one protecting Carly, not letting her walk into a dumpster fire like that. And speaking of things that don't make sense, what's the budget for General Hospital? I mean, how are they getting all these 90s and 2000s hits and Disney songs? Those aren't cheap, y'all. The action scenes, shootouts, explosions, fight sequences are top tier too. I thought Days and Guiding Light had the best action, but GH might have just one-upped them. Plus, they're shooting in all these famous locations, so I guess being on ABC has its perks. And let's not forget the number of celebs and musicians they've had on. Either they're doing it as a favor, or someone's got some serious pull behind the scenes. So who's ready to put their conspiracy hats on and guess if Drew is secretly Shiloh? And if he is, where in the world is the real Drew hiding? I've seen this theory floating around on some other sites, so I'm just asking. But seriously, if Willow wasn't drowning in guilt over cheating on Michael, don't you think she might have actually done something useful for once? Like, I don't know, maybe calling Jason or Carly to check in on Michael? They could have found out if he's having a rough day and not up for a visit. And hey, while they're at it, maybe even discover that Drew's behind this whole no Willow for you plan. But no, Willow's too busy running straight back to Drew, so he can give her that classic disappointed 5-year-old hug. Then he'll tell her how he's going to fix everything, as if he's the world's most underwhelming problem solver. And we all know what happens next. Willow will just hand herself over to the pervert manipulator, Drew. And oh, the joy I felt when Carly and Sunny were together. I don't think I'll ever get over them as a couple. From the very first time I watched GH, they were the reason I came back. 20 years later, still obsessed with them. Nothing beats that magic. By the way, who played that nurse on GH Friday who injected Sunny in the hospital? No credits at the end? Hello, what are we supposed to do with that information? Was she just some random character who might become a new soap villain? Or is she already secretly plotting something sinister? Get it together, GH. And whatever happened to Sam's will? Wasn't there some big hullabaloo about it after she died? Did it ever get read? Or was that just another one of those soap storylines that poof, disappears? Speaking of legendary storylines, let's talk about the infamous Asian Quarter arc from 1985. Remember all those big-name stars like George Takei, Key Luke, and Tia Carrere? Yeah, that storyline was so iconic, it almost had its own fan club. We should totally revisit that, right? Can you imagine a new generation of green shirts? Maybe the Ancient One's descendants could come back and mess with Drew's mind, making him think he's being haunted by Sam for being such a garbage dad. Now that would add some spice. But no, instead, we're stuck watching Drew act like he's suddenly above everyone else. What's up with that? This guy had zero issues with Sunny before, but now he's pulling a full-on jealousy meltdown for no good reason. Drew, seriously, get over yourself already. It's embarrassing. And please, what is this May sweeps thing everyone's talking about? I keep hearing about it like it's some sacred event, but I have no idea what's actually going down. Is it just a soap opera excuse to amp up the drama? Or are we in for a truly mind-blowing twist? On another note, how much longer are Ova and Rick going to keep blackmailing Alexis? Girl is hanging on by a literal thread at this point. Oh, and Rick? Teaming up with Ava is pretty much the express route to losing everything. His daughter, his law license, probably his dignity too. Talk about making bad decisions, a 2-for-1 deal. And lastly, can someone please just take Drew down already? Willow is about to cry like she's in a soap marathon. Get the tissues ready because this drama isn't slowing down. At this point, we'll need snacks for the ride. Ah, the classic soap opera phenomenon where a character suddenly does a complete 180 in personality. And the only explanation seems to be that the writers decided, yeah, this works now. You know the kind. No build-up, no gradual change, just a total flip that leaves us scratching our heads. This isn't the slow burn character evolution you'd expect. It's more like the writers hit the reset button because they needed someone to be a villain or a plot device. And of course, Drew comes to mind. Drew's transformation is a prime example. There's barely any explanation for his sudden villainy. He's definitely not the same character Billy Miller introduced years ago, or even the one Kobe Ryan Clocklin took over. The shift feels a lot less like a natural progression and more like they just decided, you know what? Drew's a bad guy now, and that was the end of it. Maybe there's some grand soapy twist coming, like Drew being Shiloh in disguise, but so far, it feels like they just said so and left it at that. But let's not stop there. This isn't a unique case. Let's talk about some other head-scratching character shifts. First up, Paul Hornsby. When he was played by Paul Satterfield, Paul wasn't exactly the town saint, but he wasn't a cold-blooded murderer either. Fast forward to 2015 when Richard Burgi took over, and suddenly Paul is a multiple murderer and all-around villain. No gradual descent, just a total character overhaul. Sure, he had some shady dealings, but he went from bad guy to monster in no time flat. Then there's Diego Alcazar. He was supposed to be a charming, lovable bad boy. But guess what? Suddenly, he's a deranged stalker who'd rather kidnap people than flirt at a bar. The shift was so drastic, you almost wondered if they were writing a completely different character altogether. Diego never had time to develop into anything coherent. And don't even get me started on Rick Weber. The man had his flaws, sure, marital scandals, a few questionable decisions, but syringe-toting murderer? Really? In 2002, Scott killed him off in a fit of totally unexplainable rage. Rick had a legacy as one of GA's most iconic doctors, but instead of a dignified exit, they turned him into a paranoid, unhinged mess. Was he protecting Laura? Yeah, sure, but that's some extreme protection right there. Honestly, these sudden character shifts are the kind of thing that just ruins legacies. I hated what they did to Diego. And don't even get me started on Rick Weber's absurd ending. It felt like a slap in the face to his entire storyline. You know, I just have to get this off my chest. Can we talk about how writers love to drop storylines like they're hot potatoes? I mean, seriously, do we honestly think the FBI would just forget that one of its agents got killed? Like, no one's asking more questions weeks or months later. And what about Cyrus? Isn't anyone looking into his mysterious disappearance? Oh, and 2 hairs were found at the crime scene. But nothing. Just gonna let that slide, huh? And Michael? His conscience didn't even twitch when he saw his father murder someone, especially after AJ, the guy who was pretty much his whole emotional backstory. Right, sure, let's not even get started on Molly. She's going to forgive her sister for literally trying to steal the baby she promised to carry for her? Is that a thing now? Now, I get it. I missed a few episodes. But did I miss the resolution to these burning questions? Or are they just, like, gone? Out the window? Honestly, I couldn't care less about the storylines themselves. I'm just over the real-life comparisons. I mean, really, who's still making those arguments? I get that some people are frustrated, and yeah, sure, they've got a point. But maybe this soap opera just isn't for them? For me, I'm seeing the glass half full. You know, by not fully resolving things, it keeps the door cracked open for them to bring stuff back in, recast, or redevelop a plot point whenever they feel like it. Let's be real. G8 doesn't seem to have any long-term story plans. It's like they're writing one episode at a time, and if they hit a dead end, they just make up something new. The character development is non-existent. Personalities change at the drop of a hat to fit the plot. We're lucky if they even plan a few months ahead. And who seriously wants to watch hours of Chase doing nothing but investigating these unsolved cases? Spoiler alert, they'll probably just conclude they don't have enough evidence, and Sonny's not going to jail. Maybe the whole police force is working on this behind the scenes, but we're stuck following the wrong characters, again. As for me, I'm fine with it. I don't think these plotlines are forgotten or abandoned. They've just concluded. Everyone's moved on to the next thing. Will they resurface? Maybe, or maybe not. But either way, I'm good. Remember when General Hospital had some actual mob storylines? I'm talking about the good old days when things weren't all sunshine and rainbows, and we had characters like Isaiah or TJ to shake things up, just like they did with Sean. But now, we're stuck with the same bland good guys, and it's making the show as exciting as a bowl of oatmeal. Seriously, where's the intrigue? The edge? Sonny's mob? The good guy mob? What a joke. I guess it depends on your definition of good guy, because all these so-called heroes are a snooze fest. If the mob stories were part of a larger web of drama, that'd be fine. But when it completely overtakes the entire show like it did in the 2000s, no thanks. Not everything should revolve around it. Maybe about 15% of the storyline, and even then, throw it in as part of some bigger, more interesting umbrella plot. But now, they've got such a small window to make things pop, and all they've managed to do is fizzle. I mean, this is what we've got. The real mob goldmine was back in the day. Frank Smith in 1979, anyone? And don't even get me started on that Chef's Kiss storyline in the early 80s with Burt Ramsay and Mr. Big. That was a twist you didn't see coming. But now, they've dropped the ball. They're not even trying to build up the next generation of mobsters in Port Charles. Nope, we're still watching the same tired old faces, characters who've been around for over 20 years, stuck in the same repetitive storylines. Remember Johnny Zacara? Had so much potential. Then poof, he was written off. And Morgan, of course. He was supposed to be Sonny's heir, right? Killed off like he didn't even matter. If that's how they're treating the mob these days, it's no wonder the show's struggling for any real drama. Brick's actually been doing a pretty decent job on General Hospital lately. I mean, I'd love to see him on screen more, with something actually meaningful. Maybe throw him in a storyline with Alexis or Nina. Something with a little depth. But no, let's just leave him as the random guy who pops in every now and then. It's honestly kind of funny to see him so calm, especially when you think about the persona he puts on for SAS. The sports commentator? Yeah, he's totally the epitome of chill in that role. But hey, somehow it works. He's actually convincing. If you've ever caught him during NBA postseason, dude is everywhere, running on fumes. So yeah, maybe that's why he's not getting the meaty storylines. We don't want to overwork him, right? Wouldn't want to push him too far. Let me know if you'd like any tweaks. Oh, you're definitely not the only one hoping for a Sonny and Nina reunion, though I might be in the minority on that front. With Natalia out of the picture, it could actually work, right? They've both been through enough drama at this point. Plus, Carly's already with Jax, so the coast is clear. But let's be real, Sonny has never exactly put Nina first, has he? It's always been Carly, and even now, he's practically married to Jason. Even when Jason wasn't around, Sonny still couldn't seem to prioritize Nina for longer than 5 minutes. Honestly, Nina deserves better. Valentin tried to put Nina first. But let's not forget, he was secretly in love with Anna the entire time. And Nina couldn't handle that for long, could she? Plus, he lied so much that even his first choice would be questionable. Jax? Yeah, he's just another version of Sonny. Carly is always numero uno. It's like Nina just enabled Sonny's bad behavior, constantly putting his needs above her own. Sure, he was happy around her. But the second things got complicated, he bailed. That's the big red flag. It's hard to see a future for them with that kind of foundation. I honestly thought Drew and Nina could have had potential at one point, especially before Willow showed up. At least Drew wasn't afraid to call Nina out on her crap. But then he got all disrespectful, and well, now he's in love with Willow. Typical. Nina needs someone who's not afraid to challenge her and hold her accountable, but who also knows how to be endearing. Let's be real. The only time Sonny was even remotely tolerable was when he was with Nina. He seemed like he wanted to escape the mob life, like he actually had a chance at something simpler. That Sonny was almost likable. Too bad it didn't last, huh? And seriously, Nina's back to being that insufferable character again. Does she really think Willow's some fragile child who needs rescuing? If Nina really wanted to take the wind out of Willow and Drew's sails, she should have just been honest with Willow from the start. But no, nothing's ever that simple with Nina. Leaving Donna with Cody? Oh yeah, that's a great idea. Totally responsible and safe, right? Because nothing says excellent judgment like leaving someone who barely stayed long enough in the ER to figure out if he has broken ribs or internal bleeding from being kicked by a horse to babysit. Seriously, who thought that was a good plan? Cody's on pain meds, trying to recover from an injury, and they're just like, hey, go ahead and watch Donna, no big deal. And if he passes out from the meds, who's to stop Donna from raiding another bottle of pills, like she did with Sonny's? What could possibly go wrong? They could have called a dozen other people to handle this. I'm not exactly shocked that Chrissy pulled this stunt, But what on earth was Molly thinking? As a mother, I can't fathom just handing my child over to someone without having a conversation first. Unless it's a life or death emergency where I'm unconscious, the least they could do is call me and talk through who's in charge of my kid. That's basic parenting 101, and I'm honestly stunned it's even up for debate. And Christina? Oh yeah, that's definitely better. She's got it all together, right? With her scatterbrain running at full speed, there's no way she's gonna forget Donna is even there while she's off dealing with whatever triggered her latest meltdown. Trusting Cody, even on painkillers, is a safer bet than leaving Donna with Christina. At least Cody's a little more reliable in his current condition. Oh, I so enjoyed Lucas and Lulu's interview about adoption. Seriously, Lucas had some golden lines, like, "I always knew I was chosen and loved, and I still think that it's the greatest gift you can give or receive. Just chef's kiss." Those words really hit home for me. Here I am, still trying to figure out whether I should go the biological route or adopt. I've always dreamt of having biological kids, but thanks to some medical stuff, I've had to face the fact that might not be the best path for me. My husband, on the other hand, is all in for adoption. His brother was adopted, and he thinks it's a beautiful thing. I want to be on board too, but I'm still on the fence. But hearing Lucas talk about adoption in such a profound way made me pause and think. The perspective he shared was something I'd never considered before. It really made me reflect. I've always loved how this show, ridiculous, frustrating, and sometimes downright infuriating, still manages to tackle real-life issues and offer up some actual wisdom in the process. Like, they use these wild, dramatic situations to show how different people handle them, and in a way that helps viewers gain understanding. The actors, too, wow, they're incredible at portraying the deep, raw emotions of things like adoption, loss, cheating, divorce, you name it. Seriously, they do it so much better than some other shows. And okay, as far as the medical stuff goes, it's not always spot on, but when it comes to the emotional aftermath of a diagnosis or the ripple effect on families, they nail it every time. It's one of the things I genuinely love about General Hospital. Oh, and another thing I noticed, Lucas and Y and Ars Devon are, like, the only adopted characters I can think of who actually stick with their adopted families. How many times do we see the long-lost kid storyline where the adopted family gets written off as soon as the biological family comes in? Too many times to count, honestly. So it was really moving to see how that played out with Lucas. My husband overheard part of the interview and was like, "Wow, I never thought about it like that." I could tell it really made an impact on him. Anyway, I wish you all the best on your own parenthood journey. Whoever your children is, they're gonna be so lucky to have you. Oh, what a delightful thought experiment. Will Christina and Drew ever actually face any consequences for their antics? I'm on the edge of my seat here. Honestly, at this point, it's hard to imagine these two ever getting anything close to a slap on the wrist, let alone jail time. I mean, why would they be held accountable when everyone else seems to skate by? Sonny and Jason, well, they've basically turned crime into an art form. And poor Drew and Christina.